Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Thanks for joining us. We begin with legislative matters in continuation of its statutory oversight visit to federal universities across the country. The House of Representatives Committee on University Education is advising vice chancellors to prioritize maintenance of existing infrastructure rather than initiating new ones. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that this was the advice during an interface with the management of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State.
Because those are the issues that the committee will take to Parliament, take to Federal Ministry of Education. That this school here has so side of land, but unfortunately so side of land has been taken over by people. We need federal government intervention to recover this land for the school.
Our tax, as mandated by the Constitution and the House, is to help you put your books in order. If we do not point out this and you reconcile with the chairman and the secretary,
in line with the declaration
at
of
the end of the
emergency
day,
on
if
food
public
security
account
by
sees
President,
they will be wondering what this committee is doing.
These are observations of the committee on some of the projects at different levels of completion. Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Professor Nnenna Oti, attributes the delay in the completion of projects
NTA.
to lack of funds, calling on the committee to intervene.
Lack of perimeter fencing creates enormous insecurity challenges for us. So photo is porous. Another thing, of course, is that there is no residence here. We have no staff housing here. So once it's 3 o'clock, everybody begins to head to town.
At Alvan Ekoko Federal University of Education, the committee members were briefed by the Vice Chancellor on the challenges of poor enrollment of students.
We are we're not up to 1 year as a university. We have been operating at the college education level and also interfacing with the House committees. Now, God has upgraded us and also given us people like you that need to help us grow.
The oversight visit has taken the committee to 3 out of the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
For Africa to optimize the advantage in abundant natural resources and take the quantum leap in human development, the continent must look inward for solutions, starting with the right education for the youths. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, gave this submission during an audience with Burundian ambassador to Nigeria, Edward Ndubimana. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Since 2006, Nigeria and Burundi have enjoyed good relations, and the ambassador of the East African country, Edward Ndubimana, is at the office of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, on a mission to strengthen the ties. The solution to Africa's problems lie with Africans, the First Lady was quick to say, noting that it is time for African countries to strengthen the bond of brotherhood for development on the continent. She says the days of taking the natural resources that the continent is endowed with for granted are over, and called on leaders to work towards empowering and enlisting youths in developmental efforts.
I thank God that Africa has known that the way out for us is to make sure that our youth are educated so that they can really have the right of place in the marketplace. So, and I believe that the youth should realize that they need to really brace themselves up. When we continue to do what is right for them and also lead by example, we'll be able to win our youth over so that they can join in how we build, the next century.
While Burundi's desire and request for investment from Nigeria has already been laid before the president, the ambassador says the visit is to register his country's appreciation for the First Lady's interest and support for education. The ambassador, who spoke in French, acknowledged that Burundi has had its fair share of challenges, but notes that the country is now back on the path of peace and progress.
We have also established a commission for peace and reconciliation, and we are on our way to development.
He equally presented an invitation from the First Lady of Burundi Angeline Indayubaha to her Nigerian counterpart seeking a visit to Burundi. In the State House, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Let's shift our focus now to health-related matters. Any laboratory without an automated information management system should be shut down. These were the words of the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, as he put in place a technical team on national laboratory regulation and inspection in Nigeria. Uche Ugochukwu reports that this is part of efforts to improve medical laboratories and eliminate quackery in the country.
Medical laboratories play a crucial role in healthcare, providing critical test results that inform diagnosis and treatment. However, the sector in Nigeria has been plagued by quackery, with unqualified practitioners and substandard facilities putting lives at risk. This has informed the need for stricter regulation and enforcement, which this 15-member technical team on national laboratory regulation and inspection against quackery is mandated to achieve.
And the work of this technical working group will border as well on the DNO project, and they've also given commitment to you, the registrar, that they will help with the improvement of your digital platform as well, and a way that the DNO will fit into the system.
Through an already established framework for accreditation, inspection and certification of medical laboratories, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria technical team promised a safe, reliable and effective healthcare for all.
Considering the antecedents of members of the technical team, the people of this country can henceforth look forward to more sensitive and patient-centered regulatory activities that benchmark international best practices. In the next 6 months, the story of laboratory practice in this country will change.
The changes needed in the outcomes of Nigeria's medical laboratories are expected within the 2-year tenure of the team. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says the country is strengthening the national coordination response on managing several endemic diseases, including Mpox, recently declared a public health emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization, WHO. At a media engagement in Abuja, Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, says Nigeria is also closely monitoring developments of the disease outside the country and putting mechanisms in place to prevent its importation. Olusheye Adego has details.
In the Mpox epidemiological summary of the NCDC, Nigeria has no record of deaths from the Mpox, but a total of 39 cases have been confirmed out of 788 suspected ones in 33 states, including the FCT between 1st January and 5th August 2024. To counter the spread of Mpox, a highly contagious disease, formerly known as monkeypox, Nigeria CDC Director General spoke on the workings of the National Mpox Technical Working Group, coordinating a multi-sectoral response activities.
We are intensifying surveillance activities that's tracking cases across Nigeria to swiftly detect and respond to any new cases. We are working with the Port Health Services. Along this line, 5 designated international airports and some key seaports, including land and foot crossing borders, have been placed on high alert. Declaration forms have been distributed to airlines, especially those coming in from countries where there is an ongoing outbreak of Mpox in the last 90 days.
The center draws on control measures such as getting vaccines and ongoing efforts to mitigate challenges.
The Nigerian government is making efforts to make vaccines available to the public, especially for the hotspot areas. These vaccines have been shown to have a favorable safety profile. We are looking for support funding internationally, and that's why again we are talking to a lot of our partners.
The NCDC board sensitizes citizens on adherence to proven infectious prevention measures to limit Mpox virus transmission. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Well, intensifying surveillance across the country, as well as reporting cases of rashes for risk profiling to curtail the spread of Mpox in the country have been re-echoed on Good Morning Nigeria. The guests are emphatic that though the strain in Nigeria at the moment is less virulent, health workers must be on high alert given the unpredictable nature of these viruses and their potential to mutate. Lydia Sampson reports.
Though Mpox is highly transmitted through sexual contact, medical experts are urging Nigerians to be cautious, prepared and continuously wash their hands and use sanitizers to contain the spread of the disease in Nigeria. They are optimistic that if lessons learned in curtailing Ebola and COVID-19 are deployed, Nigeria can contain the disease.
Mpox is not like COVID that is spread through, by aerosol and others, but this one is contact. You have to come into contact, either skin to skin contact or sexual contact and all this. So it makes it much easier, to really, protect yourself from Mpox. But unfortunately, and that is the most important aspect there, almost 80% of the cases are mild.
We have that collaborations and we have the exchange program whereby we can support the other countries, and that is why we have the system in place whereby each member country have what we call the SOC staff. We call it Rapid Response Register for each country. Then the African country have the central one whereby they look at what individual country have in terms of capacity to be able to support other countries.
The guest reiterates continuous health education to equipping the people with knowledge is critical.
We need to be able to produce our vaccines. There may be a time when we would need to vaccinate people against Mpox because there's a vaccine for it.
Okay.
But again, the most important vaccine is our attitude. Hygiene conscious, wash your hands as frequently as possible, be clean, personal hygiene, environmental sanitation, keep your ears open so that if you hear of something that could affect you, you respond appropriately.
Tracking coordinated response amongst countries, the health experts acknowledge must be expanded. They also emphasize the need for more funding and equipping of primary healthcare centers for proactive interventions. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And as the health sector leverages technology to effectively tackle maternal and reproductive issues, as well as other health challenges in various communities, the Benue state government says free cancer and prostatitis screening are to be accessed by people soon in order to cut down their prevalence. This was at a 5-day mandatory continuous professional development workshop for primary healthcare tutors on integrating ICT skills for sustainable universal health coverage. Charles Abba reports that the workshop holding in Makurdi consists of participants from the North Central Zone.
Practitioners, especially primary healthcare workers, are expected to be abreast of integrating information communication technology to effectively deliver health services, which is the essence of the workshop.
We have to be well armed in order to train our students to be up to date to meet the global world.
We want to update our knowledge on new skills, different ways of doing things, so that we will go and be successful in our programs.
Registrar, Community Health Practitioners Registration Board of Nigeria, represented, who frowned at the proliferation of illegal health institutions, submitted that the mandatory continuous professional development workshop for primary healthcare tutors is to ensure infection control, cancer screening, risk assessment, and quality assurance.
Take your time, screen these people and know where is their route, where are they coming from. If they require to be prosecuted, prosecute them, because they are spoiling the name of community health practitioners.
Anything that involves lives is very, very important.
So we are going to do free prostatic cancer screening for Benue people.
During the technical session, resource persons drilled participants on leveraging computer-based tests, CBT, as against pen on paper.
beyond this, there's plan to introduce some of the concept of computer usage, even at the first year of healthcare services.
The health practitioners are to use the computer and other digital health facilities to run various processes of health services. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Let's get some other news now. We go to Bauchi State, where the destruction caused by heavy downpour along the Kano-Maiduguri Expressway is an alarming one, with a situation that has led to a quick response by the federal government to address the situation. Abdullahi Aminu has visited some of the flood-affected communities along the road, which are connecting the entire northeastern states with other parts of the country. Let's hear his report.
It could be recalled that in the last week, this was the situation of Guskuri and Sabangari villages when their houses were destroyed, farmlands submerged by water, and some parts of the federal road crossing through them were cut off as a result of a heavy downpour. This is how the overflow of the water in some of the flood-affected communities is presently forcing the people to find it difficult getting out of their communities. Other communities were also seen being forced to have gotten for themselves a temporary shelter. To them, this process of using leaves and stem of trees is their only way to start their lives, though a temporary measure is provided by the Bauchi state government, but the situation at the cut-up portions of the Kano-Maiduguri road is still under a careful watch.
Tun ana jin labarinsa daga nesa ana ga irin wanda yake zuwa ke wuce wannan ne ya zo fa karfin mutane. Ya zo ya shiga cikin gari, ya rurrushe gidaje, duk wani gari da yake kan bakin hanyar ruwan nan duk ba garin da ba ruwan da bai ci ba duk ya tattashi gari duka birni da ƙauye wanda yake kan hanyar ruwa da gonake da gidaje.
This is actually a temporary measure by the Bauchi state government, while the federal government has directed the Federal Ministry of Works to properly evaluate the situation for emergency solutions. In Bauchi, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Works, David Mahi, has provided a quick response with regards to redesigning the entire flood-damaged portions along the Kano-Maiduguri Expressway, with an assurance to Nigerians of the federal government's commitment to ensuring their socio-economic well-being. The minister stated this at the end of his two-day assessment tour of the flood destruction in Bauchi. Muazu Hassan reports.
Maluri and Guskuri villages in Katagum local government area of Bauchi State are the major damaged portions by the flood along Kano-Maiduguri road, which is the major link between the northeastern states and other parts of the country. This assessment visit by the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, is aimed at providing a tangible solution on the situation as directed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We have designed the project here, and the work is to start immediately. Yes, I want to thank the governor very highly for the palliative work. We reported it in the Council of State that this road was cut, and the governor has provided palliative work.
And sent a clarion call to the presidency, and he sent not only a director or the controller of works, he sent the minister himself. We are very, very glad and grateful, and I assure you, myself and the emirate of this area and our government will come to Abuja and say thank you to you and Mr. President for this quick intervention.
The minister has questioned the use of stone base at the wash-away portion of the road and questioned contractors in the country against being involved in substandard work, even if it is on temporary basis. In Bauchi, Moaz Hassan, NTA News.
Let's now head over to our Lagos Network Centre, where Adiola will give us our next set of reports. Hello, Adiola.
Dennis.
200 females have been selected across the 5 divisions of Lagos State to participate in the nationwide farming competition for female first-time farmers. This initiative of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator every home of wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Abuja Sanwo-Olu, made this known at a seminar organized for the selected participants at the Lagos House, Ikeja. S.A. Owamaka reports.
The scheme, tagged Every Home a Garden Competition, under the Renewed Hope initiative of the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is aimed at encouraging Nigerians to complement government's efforts in tackling food insecurity by embracing home farming in all states of the Federation.
The onus lies on us to take responsibility to grow something that at the end of the day, you yourself, you can be proud of, that yes, through my sweat, labor and tears, I was able to bring up this crop. This is a stepping stone for you to start your own farming. You never can tell. Before you know it, one of you can be a mechanized farmer.
Today is a day for women, and I'm very excited that in Lagos State we can find this number of women coming out with all their chest to show that they are for agriculture.
This seminar, organized for the 200 females selected from the 5 divisions of the state for the national competition, according to Dr. Abuja Sanwo-Olu, will enlighten the participants on the guidelines and procedures in emerging as a winner of the competition.
Every Home a Garden competition aimed at promoting home farming comes at a critical time when food prices are soaring across our country and beyond. Her Excellency, Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, rightly believes that embracing home farming will bring much needed relief to many Nigerians at this time in our nation.
The Every Home a Garden competition will culminate in December this year with a grand prize of 20 million naira given to the winner of the national competition. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NTA News.
Nigeria has 9 compulsory insurance covers, which include third-party motor, employer's liability, workers' compensation, group life, and health insurance, among others. Despite the essential contribution of the insurance industry in mitigating unforeseeable and disastrous events, some, especially those in rural areas, remain ignorant. Hingino John Adams spoke with some experts on awareness creation.
Everyone is desirous of a better Nigeria, but many, according to experts, are oblivious of the fact that this desire can only manifest if they play their own part as responsible citizens. It is a common phenomenon for Nigerians to perform their civic duties like voter registration, collection of PVCs, and other germane identity cards when there is a stipulated deadline or serves as a prerequisite to access government services like school enrollment, access.
Insurance provides protection against financial losses that occur from tragic incidents like accidents, injuries, property damage, among others. Despite serving as a shield against unforeseen circumstances by protecting people from unplanned expenses and offering financial cushion, some people do not subscribe to it, but those who do enjoy the benefits.
What insurance simply means is that appreciating that we are all exposed to risk and then coming together to put funds together so that in case somebody becomes unfortunate amongst those of us that are putting money together, we compensate that.
Before now, awareness on insurance among Nigerians was low, but the story is gradually changing. As experts say, many are now buying into the idea.
Those awareness are coming up because people are suffering losses and they are getting a compensation.
The insurance product is a product that takes care of you when there is plenty and when there is few. Instead of bringing money to replace your asset, if the asset is insured, the insurance company will come in and pay for you to restore that asset whenever there is a loss. And what you pay in return is just a token of the amount of the value that is at risk.
Experts say with the right sensitization strategy, many people will be brought on board, thereby making the subsector more vibrant. In Lagos, Hingino, John Adams, NTA News.
Apologies for the mix-up in the earlier part of that. Well, those are stories from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Abubakar in Maiduguri when we return from this break.
We hope you are still on to Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. The news belt now continues in Maiduguri. The need for durable solutions to the humanitarian crisis in the northeast, occasioned by the Boko Haram insurgency, has again been stressed. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum reiterated this when he received delegation from United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, led by the Assistant High Commissioner for Operations, Mr. Rauf Mazu, at the Government House, Maiduguri. Here is Mohammed Goni with the rest of the story.
For almost 15 years, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, along with other UN agencies and international non-governmental organizations, have been in Borno working with the state authorities to provide humanitarian responses to the displacement and other associated challenges. Governor Zulum appreciated the UNHCR for its intervention in the state and support for the ongoing repatriation of refugees of Borno extraction in Republic of Cameroon.
Together, we shall get sustainable solutions to our IDPs, both in terms of protection as well as in terms of repatriation.
The governor, who expressed readiness to work with the NGOs, however, stressed need for the state government to take the lead. He also emphasized the need for voluntary resettlement of the IDPs in their ancestral homes to pave the way for closure of all camps. Leaders of the delegation, Assistant High Commissioner for Operations, Rauf Mazau, and that of Protection, Mrs. Rubendrini Manikdiwela, said they were at the government house to interface with the governor with regards to their intervention in Borno and commended Governor Zulum for his passion to return of refugees and IDPs to their communities of origin or other safe location.
Our mandate is to support government in providing protection to refugees, but also to internally displaced persons and to find solutions.
We are greatly reassured by the fact that you yourself are really making the focus on solutions one of the main elements of your functions here in Borno State.
The two Assistant High Commissioners highlighted need for safety of refugees and IDPs as communities are being resettled. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Away from humanitarian issues for now, to tell you that Borno State Government is to partner with the University of Maiduguri to promote research and development in agricultural sector to enhance mass food production in the state. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum stated this when he received the newly inaugurated Governing Council and management staff of the institution on a courtesy visit at the Government House, Maiduguri. Here again is Mohammed Goni with the rest of the story.
The Governing Council of the University of Maiduguri visited Governor Zulum following his inaugural meeting to appreciate him for being a strong pillar to the citadel of learning. Professor Zulum, who congratulated the Pro-Chancellor, members of the council on their appointment, also expressed confidence in the ability of the personalities involved to add value to the university system.
My main objective is to ensure that the University of Maiduguri regains its lost glory in terms of academic excellence. I will support all initiatives from the Governing Council that will ensure growth and development of the university in a sustainable manner.
Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council, Dr. Yunusa Adamu Dangoni, highlighted the various interventions by the Zulum administration for betterment of the University of Maiduguri and the education sector in Borno, urging the governor to facilitate support to the institution within and outside the country.
Education is one of the cardinal and capital human development, and we believe without education none of us would have been here.
He also sought the support of members of the National Assembly of Borno Extraction for the university in the 2024 budgetary allocation. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories for now from Maiduguri. Let us at this point return to Dennis in Abuja for more reports for us. Thank you, Abubakar, and it's good to see you. Okay, let's return to some health matters now. In 2012, Kogi State made progress in its fight against HIV, with the Kogi State Agency for the Control of AIDS reporting a drop in HIV and AIDS prevalence from 5.8% in 2010 to 1.4% in 2012. However, this progress has not been sustained, as the state is now seeing a rise in the number of cases, along with an increase in the stigmatization of affected individuals. Solomon Ayedin examines the causes behind this trend and explores potential solutions for reversing the situation.
1983, the world faced a new health crisis, HIV/AIDS. This immune system disease, caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, has claimed many lives and impacted families. The initial response was strong, with widespread awareness campaigns and donor support. However, over the time, the focus on HIV/AIDS has lessened. In 2021, an estimated 1.9 million people were living with HIV in Nigeria, with an adult prevalence rate of 1.3%. Each year, about 74,000 new infections occur, leading to 51,000 AIDS-related deaths. Despite these figures, around 1.7 million Nigerians are on antiretroviral treatment, a key method for managing the virus. In Kogi State, over 50,000 people are living with HIV/AIDS, yet only about 36,066 are receiving treatment. These gaps, highlighted by the Kogi State Agency for the Control of AIDS, KOSAKA, indicates a challenge in controlling the disease spread.
Due to the fatigue or stigma and discrimination, then they are afraid of coming out to show themselves so that they can be linked to treatment.
We have to come together again to do something positive about it.
Stakeholders and health managers must collaborate to increase efforts to reduce HIV and stigma in Kogi State. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
And Solomon joins us live from Lokoja to give us more insight on the fight against this scourge. Solomon, the prevalence rate you reported is significant. What factors are contributing to this current situation?
Yes, I must tell you that the fight against the spread of HIV needs vital information. Information is key. And when there is no information, people may be deprived of the danger and the impact of HIV. When at the initial response, in terms of was very, very high. But as we speak today, this is at a low ebb. And the new generation youths have been deprived of vital information on the impact of HIV in the society. And this, no doubt, is making the number of people infected by HIV to rise on a daily basis. Also, Kogi State, the centralization of Kogi State, bordering about 10 states, including Abuja, has put the state on the danger list in terms of people crisscrossing, travel.
Well, we're obviously having problems with the connection to Solomon. Apologies for that. We'll get to him later on. Let's talk politics now. The River State chapter of the governing All Progressives Congress says it is not surprised by the outcome of the High Court sitting in Port Harcourt over judgments that reinstated the Emeka Bikis-sacked State Working Committee. State Acting Chairman Tony Okocha says violation of the status quo by the factional leadership on a suit that stacked it and paved the way for the inauguration of a caretaker committee was a gross abuse of a court order which constitutes an affront to democracy.
Already for 2 weeks. Have you forgotten that when I came here, the last sitting,
I think that the judgment was foretold. So when they came with that judgment on Monday, it didn't sound strange to me. Nobody got perturbed. Of course, you saw what we did on Tuesday. We were still out for a walk, for pro-Tinubu, call it pro-Tinubu support rally, under the auspices of Coalition of Renewed Hope Family in River State. I'm sure some of you saw the clips of what happened on Tuesday. In the judgment that he was making order against the party, APC. APC was not a party. APC as a party was not a party in the suit. So how do you bring somebody with a party in the suit and make an order that will affect the person? Well, the party will speak on that.
Okocha alerts political watchers of the manipulation of the court in Rivers and assures that the APC family in Rivers State remains united behind the presidency of President Bola Tinubu beyond 2027. Meanwhile, the Forum of National Youth Leaders of Political Parties in Nigeria is taking the lead to mobilize youth across the country to ensure no issue is left out in the considerations to be made in rebuilding the nation in this post-protest era. The forum also believes that the government deserves commendation for the way it handled the recent protests in some parts of the country. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This briefing by the Forum of National Youth Leaders of Political Parties in Nigeria followed intense deliberations on the state of the nation. They believe that as the face of the youth of the country who have a footing on the political landscape, the forum has continued to express its desire for alternative resolutions to challenges than confrontational approach.
We strongly recommended the spirit of reconciliation, which is the first step toward reintegrating our young people into the post-protest development agenda. That this dialogue should be replicated in the geopolitical zones and other subunits that will draw participation from our youth in the rural areas, which is where bulk of the youth are inspired to hope of collaboration with them.
The forum unanimously agreed that the consequences of confrontation are always dire, often leaving all factors devastated. Also, it has developed a strategic document that highlights the specific areas of concern as expressed by the youth and the necessary steps required to mitigate them. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Debarbary in our Port Harcourt Network Centre takes it up from here. Hello, Debarbary, it's over to you.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. The House of Representatives Technical Subcommittee on Tertiary Education Trust Fund, led by its chairman, Miriam Odinaka, has rated 4 tertiary institutions in River State high in General Performance Index. Government House correspondent Osinachi Samuel reports that this was when the committee visited Governor Siminalayi Fubara in Port Harcourt.
Elated by the satisfactory remarks made by the committee, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara notes that the state's 4 tertiary institutions are top-notch in terms of infrastructure, manpower and service delivery, and has been generally competitive over the years.
And the project also lifted the university, helped them in accreditations because of the level of work they did. So I want to thank not just you, but the initiators, which is the federal government, and the support that the National Assembly are giving to see that these funds are utilized for the good of our tertiary institution.
He also advised against individual or collective decisions and actions that inadvertently destroy public institutions. Chairman of the House of Representatives Technical Subcommittee on Tertiary Education Trust Fund and Other Services, led by its chairman, Miriam Odinaka Onoha, notes that they are in the state to oversight duties on TED Fund projects and are pleased with what is on ground.
The reason I also want to appreciate the heads of tertiary institutions, state-owned in Rivers State, is that you've done relatively well compared to some of the other institutions where we have visited, where we have outstandings up to the tune of 8 billion.
The lawmakers urged the management of the 4 institutions to leverage available funding to upscale infrastructure, training opportunities, and other facilities. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The ongoing infrastructural development and remediation of polluted Ogoni land by the federal government has been noted to be a visible template to restoring the Niger Delta region for sustainable development. This was the view of House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Host Communities during a visit to hydrocarbon pollution remediation project sites in Rivers State. Robinson Dartaide has the details.
House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Host Communities were on an inspection visit to various remediation sites in Eleme and Tai local government areas of Rivers State. The team was satisfied with the renewed vigor of IPREP to facilitate the Ogoni land cleanup. They noted that Ogoni specialist and cottage hospitals are different levels of construction, and the completed 60,000 Pogo water scheme, among others, will provide the needed health services for the people.
We see renewed vigor in the delivery of these services to the people of Ogoni land. And I must use the opportunity to commend the Honorable Minister of Environment and also the project coordinator of the HIPREP and their team.
From day one, I assured every stakeholder that we will ensure that we will give the Ogoni people the very best, because we are mindful of the fact that we are developing a template, not just for Ogoni, but a template that will be replicated in the rest of the Niger Delta.
The committee, however, invited contractors who failed the standard to a meeting, while promising to address issues concerning a landowner who barricaded some sites from being remediated at Ogale in Eleme.
For the Ogoni people, there are people that have been, deprived. They've gone through so much of deprivation and pollution in this land for God knows how long. And I think the least that can be done is what is going on.
The committee also appealed to donor agencies to redeem their funding pledge. Robinson Darataide, NTA News.
And as our beat from Port Harcourt, the news will continue in Abuja right after the break. Good evening.
Welcome back to Abuja. Now, the saying that when you empower a woman, you empower the family came to the fore when the wife of the Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Kayode Egbetokun, empowered about 600 families and widows of officers and men of the force in Abuja. Francis Form reports that the beneficiaries of the gesture have undergone 3 to 6 months extensive training before being presented their startups.
It is a gathering of spouses of police officers and men to commemorate the 6 decades of poor existence and to honor the memory of late police personnel, extend support and empowerment to less privileged police families and widows. Through this empowerment program, families of serving police officers and those who died in the line of duty are being equipped with the essential skills and resources.
The skills you have acquired at the Skill Acquisition Center have prepared you to take new challenges, pursue new opportunities, and achieve great things. You have worked hard to develop yourself, and you should be incredibly proud of your accomplishments.
Then comes the moment graduates of Poor Skills Acquisition Center, DEDE, are being handed their certificates and startups.
I want to appreciate God for this moment, for the opportunity our mommy has given us, for giving us all these things. We want to say thank you. This giveaway mommy give us, I'm very happy. Mommy, God bless you.
Going to 50 years of a widowhood. So, and I've not seen anybody that have ever called me for this kind of a thing before. So I really appreciate what she has done.
Emmanuel, a son to a serving inspector who emerged the overall best in the 3 months ICT training, shared the secret behind his success.
But with those 3 months, I utilize every chance I get. I utilize all the equipment we had at the school.
In continuation of Power at 60, spouses of police officers and men, after the empowerment, have converged on the Power Secretariat to catch fun. The women who appeared in old school attire danced to the admiration of their guests. Francis from NTA News.
A committee to see to the successful conduct of the 2024 service of 9 lessons and carols has been inaugurated, and Director General of the NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by the Executive Director Engineering, Ije Osagi, assured the committee representatives from NTA, FRCN and VON of the foremost media organizations' support for the success of the annual event.
Do their part, then VON too. But I know that may not be enough for us. So if you have to have a very good outing, a very rich outing, then money will be spent. Money has to be spent. So and that money has to be sourced for.
The organization. Far more into the budgeting and the sponsorship of the program.
We are not going to fall short of the expectations. So at the end of the day, the name of the Lord will be glorified.
NTA is to host this year's edition. And with that, we conclude Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. On behalf of the production crew, I am Dennis Adigunloye. Thank you for watching.